Facing the future can be exciting, thinking about all the things we could create or all the places we could go. But facing the future can also be terrifying. The future has wars, earthquakes, famine, viruses, fires, hurricanes, and Legos. So how can we face the future without worry? So in Luke chapter 21, the disciples are noticing how beautiful the temple is, and that's when Jesus says that it's going to be destroyed, which causes the disciples to wonder when. So Jesus tells them before the end, this is what's going to happen. Chapter 21, verse 10 says, "Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven." That sounds fun. Then Jesus says, but before all those good times, you have this to look forward to. You're going to be persecuted. Oh, please don't say public speaking. You're going to be put in prison. Please don't say public speaking. And public speaking. Now, the persecution and the imprisonment and the public speaking all take place in the book of Acts. Did someone say Acts? Oh, come on. How do you even get into my house? Dude, you always leave the back door open. Plus, your wife let me in the front door. Now, persecution and prison and public speaking, they can all cause worry. Worry divides the mind. The biblical word for worry is a compound of two Greek words, to divide and the mind. Anxiety splits our energy between today's priorities and tomorrow's problems. Part of our mind is on the now, the rest is on the not yet. The result is half-minded living. What if I never find a wife? What if I find a wife, but we can't have kids? What if I find a wife and we do have kids? What if I'm a terrible father? Anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down. Now this brings us to our key text. After Jesus tells the disciples that they're going to face a future of persecution, imprisonment, and public speaking, he then tells them this, "But make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves. For I will give you the words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict." Jesus tells them to make up their minds, to make a decision. Have you ever been shopping online and you leave things in your shopping cart because you couldn't make up your mind? Or have you ever got stuck at an intersection because you couldn't make up your mind if you should go left or right? And then the guy behind you in a white Hyundai starts yelling and losing his mind? That wasn't specific at all. So the apostles, they weren't immune to worry. They had to make a decision before they faced the future of persecution, prison, and public speaking. So what was the decision? They had to decide to worry about how they were going to get what they needed when they needed it in the future, or to decide that Jesus was going to give them what they needed when they needed it as they faced the future. Jesus told them that they were going to be public speakers and their audience was going to be governors and kings. And that's exactly what we see happen in the book of Acts. Worry says it's all up to me. Faith says it's all up to God. Worry says there's a problem. Faith says there's a God who can handle this problem. Worry says, how will I make things happen? Faith says, I know that God will make things happen. Worry says, how will I provide? Faith says, God will provide. Notice Jesus doesn't tell them exactly what arguments he's going to give them. He just says that when they are testifying about Jesus, Jesus says, I'll give you the wisdom and I'll give you the words to say. He promises that he'll show up when they need him to. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. I don't know what I'm going to do when the kids leave to go to college. You don't need to know. In your time of need, God will help you. Well, I don't know what's going to happen if my spouse dies. I don't know where I'm going to find the strength. You don't need to worry about that. When the time comes, God will give you what you need. Well, what if I get cancer? What if I lose my job? Don't worry. trust that God will give you what you need when you need it. During worship on Sundays, sometimes I'm the guy with the clicker, and if I advance the slide too fast, that's not good. People need to see the lyrics that they're singing right now. They don't need to see the next slide, right, until the right time. There are some things that are just not beneficial for us if we received it right now. We need tomorrow's strength tomorrow. God has given us the strength we need for today, today. God is like a father who holds the plane tickets. He doesn't give his kids the plane tickets until when? Right before they need to get on the plane. He gets them out of his cool fanny pack and he gives them to his kids. God will give us what we need when we need it. Now, this promise from Jesus to show up and give us what we need when we need it is a promise that has to be received by faith. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do, which means that this message is simple, but it's not easy. Faith is something that you have to develop. It's like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger faith we have. But you might be thinking, I don't even know where to start. You can start by simply asking Jesus, Jesus, please help me to believe. Help me to trust your words. Help me to really believe that you will show up for me. Listen, I don't want to belittle the future. There are scary things that lie ahead. But Jesus promises to show up, to give us what we need when we need it. And because of that, we can face the future without worry.